So let me show you what my app does first here. Let me just run it real quick. And then we will get into the code review. So the premise of my game is to just click the green tile as fast as possible. And then when you get it correct, it will give you a quick sound, and then within 3 seconds it will end if you don't answer. And if you get it wrong, it will play the wrong sound, and you will be brought to the game over screen. On the game over screen here, you can see that we have the score listed and the high score listed. This is actually saved in core data, so you can close the app or just close the app and it will be saved. So let's start with the menu. On here, basically, we just import the core data, and we have a variable here that sets up the high score. And then inside here, the viewDidLoad function, after we call super.viewDidLoad, we create a defaults variable, which is of type user defaults. And then we create the saved score, which is what we'll be saving under the, and then using the defaults, user defaults here, we set an integer for the key high score right here. And then when we load in, we will take the already saved score, which we save in our end view here after the game ends. We save it right here. Same thing on the here. We just create another defaults, and then we set the high score as that key. And then this is on here. The high score is set, or the high score is set to the saved score, which is how the app, after being closed, regains the high score that you already had. And then we have the prepare for Segue right here, and this basically just sends over the data, keeping the high score throughout all three view controllers we have. Oops, that's the launch screen. Here we go. All three view controllers, the menu, the actual game view, and the game overview. So let's go into the game view here. This also imports core data and the AV foundation. The AV foundation is the sound, and as well as importing those, we have the class being extended to the collection view delegate, the collection view data source, and the AV audio player delegate. So this just allows the audio player to be used in this class, and these two allow for the use of the collection view. So here we have the outlets, the score label here, we have the time label, and we have the collection view. The time label is this one right here, the score label is this one here, and then we have the collection view right here. And then we just have some variables here, which I'll just have the setup. Inside the viewDidLoad here, we actually set up a timer. This is what counts down for the time which we saw in the app earlier. And that's just calling a update function, which is right here, which basically simply just decrements time by 1 and sets the label, and then we check to see if the time is 0. We stop the timer, and then we go to the next view here. And instead of having the prepare for Segue down at the bottom, I had to do a programmably send the view or all the data over using this right here, and then presented it all programmatically. And then here we just set up 4 cells inside our collection view. Here, this is whatever the collection view cells get tapped. So basically we're just checking the row, and if it's equal to the random number which we generate to set the green cell as, which is the correct one to tap, we just increase score by 1. We set the score label to score:score. Set the time back to 3. We play the correct sound, and then we reload the data to reset the table collection view. And then if it is not equal, then we play the wrong sound, and we set time to 1 to allow the update function to hit the time equals 0 and go to the next view. And then here we just set up the cell, which is where we just set the random, and then we either set it to green or red, red being the wrong, green being right. And then we return cell. And then down here we have the audio setup, which is just allowing me to play the audio. Finally, we have the cell controller here, which has nothing in it because we don't need to put anything in it, but it was necessary for the setup of the cell. And I believe that is just about everything. We have a button here, just connects this to allow you to play, label for the titles, collection view here in the center, 2 labels, all the constraints, keeping them in the center, and again 1 more button here leading back to this. And then that's just about it. And I named my app Green Tile because you have to collect the green tiles. And that is pretty much everything here.